Today I am going to talk about Posta cultivation. Posta, also known as opium poppy, that is Papaver somniferum, is an annual plant reaching 3 to 5 feet height belonging to the family Papaveraceae. Opium poppy is an outstanding medicinal plant. The product, namely opium and codeine, are important medicines used for their analgesic and hypnotic effects. The term Papaver somniferum means the sleep-bringing poppy, which refers to the narcotic property of some of the opiates. Other names assigned to Posta are poppy seeds, Ephium, opium poppy, white poppy, plant of joy, mouse seeds, and common garden poppy, etc. It bears brilliant white, pink, purple, and red flowers, grown on a center bulbous pod. When scratched, the pod produces milky latex called opium, which contains a variety of opiates including codeine and morphine. The leaves are alternate, simple, clasping, and toothed. Fruits are like capsule with an expanded disc at the top and over small holes. Minute seeds are dispersed through the small holes. Poppy is widely grown as an ornamental flower throughout Europe, North America, South America, and Asia. Live opium poppy plants and seeds are sold widely by seed companies and nurseries in the Western world, including the United States. Posta is originally a native of the warmer parts of Western Asia, from where it was taken to Greece. From Asia Minor, the Arab traders took it to the far eastern countries, including India and China. There can be little doubt that the medicinal poppy is a native of Western Asia, but it is cultivated at the present time not only in the original areas of distribution, but also in India, Iran, Australia, Turkey, and Europe. When and how opium poppy and produces became known to the people of India is uncertain. Up to the period of the British acquisition of Bengal and Bihar, the Dutch were the chief purchasers of opium. Now let's come to the geographic distribution. Posta has been extensively grown in India for its milky juice, which is obtained by scarifying the capsules when fully grown, but in a green state. During the middle of the 18th century, Bihar was the chief province of India which produced the best quality and the greatest quantity of opium. At present, Posta cultivation is confined to the states of Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Himachal Pradesh. The present acreage area being 1/10 of what it used to be 4 decades ago. Now let's come to the economic importance of Posta or the opium poppy. Posta is widely used for medicinal purposes in the form of poppy-based drugs like morphine, codeine, narcotine, laudanum, papaverine, and other alkaloids. It is a stimulant that induces euphoria and helps get rid of anxieties, tensions, fears, and inhibitions. The plant is used to treat intestinal stomach spasm and respiratory spasms triggered by asthma attacks. It is used to remedy bladder, bruises, cancer, cold, colic, conjunctivitis, diarrhea, dysentery, enteritis, fever, flux, headache, hemicrania, hypertension, hypochondria, hysteria, inflammation, insomnia, malaria, melancholy, nausea, neuralgia, otitis, prolapse, rheumatism, snake bites, sprains, swelling, toothache, tumors, ulcers, and warts. It is frequently administered to relieve pain and calm excitement. The plant provides two main food ingredients, namely poppy seed and poppy seed oil. The seeds do not contain opium and are extensively used in baking and sprinkling on rolls and bread. Posta seeds are a source of drying oil that is used for manufacturing paints, varnishes, and soaps. Its oil cakes serve as a fodder for cattle. However, there is a caution that a high dose of opium poppy is highly addictive and can decrease respiration. Now let's see about the soil and climatic requirement for Posta. The soil is a reservoir of nutrients with their availability for plant growth being determined by the soil type. Posta prefers a well-drained, highly fertile, light to loam soils with an optimum pH around 7. It is a crop of temperate climate but can be grown successfully during winter in the subtropical regions. Cool climate favors higher yield, while higher day or night temperature generally affects the yield. Frosty or desiccating temperature, cloudy or rainy weather tends to reduce not only the quality but also the quantity of opium. Let's come to the varieties developed so far under Posta. The following are the three main varieties of Posta. The first one is Papaver somniferum variety nigrum, which is a wild form of the opium poppy with purple-red flowers, roundish oblong capsules opening by pores under the stigma with seeds of a dull grayish-black color. The second variety is Papaver somniferum variety album. This is also a wild form with white flowers, roundish or wet capsules, not opening by pores under the stigma, and the seeds are white. The third variety is Papaver somniferum variety abnormale, a variety not infrequent in neglected poppy fields. Flowers are small, streaked with dull green and red. The petals much crumpled and never expanding fully. Capsules roundish oblong, opening by pores under the stigma. Now let's come to the cultural practices adopted for Posta. Seedbed preparation. Posta requires a clot-free seedbed with enough moisture for good germination and establishment. The soil is plowed with moldboard plow after Kharif crop harvest to bring a fine till as the seed is very small. The field is deeply plowed followed by 2 to 3 times harrowing or 4 to 5 times intercross plowing with country plow. Now let's come to the sowing time. It is important that poppies are sown early enough to ensure that they have made sufficient vegetative growth prior to flowering. It is sown in November for higher yield. Sowing depth and spacing. Being a very small seeded plant, seed sowing should be very shallow, that is between 2 to 3 cm. This means that the seed should be sown within 5 to 10 mm of the soil surface with enough contact with the soil to ensure moisture continues to be transferred to the seed until it develops roots. However, a spacing of 20 to 25 by 10 cm would be adequate for economic yield of the plant. Now let's see the seed rate requirement. High plant densities can also reduce air movement within the crop and increase the chances of fungal diseases as well as increasing susceptibility to lodging in windy conditions as each individual plant is weaker. Usually around 750 gram per hectare Posta seeds is recommended, which will take into account seed size including the polymer coating containing fungicides. Now let's see about the sowing method. Posta seed is very small, with the consequence that very little energy reserve are contained within the seed in order for the germinating seedlings to survive. It must get its first leaves, that is cotyledons, into the sunlight as quickly as possible. Line sowing would be beneficial to have proper plant growth and development and thus the yield. Now let's see about the weed management practices. Most weeds in poppy crops can be chemically controlled, but all herbicides have some negative effects on the poppy plants. This effect can be minimized by controlling weeds prior to sowing the crop and by making sure that the poppy seeds germinate evenly. Any pre-emergence herbicides followed by hand weeding would provide very clean fields. Now let's come to manures and fertilizer applications. Posta responds remarkably to the application of manures and fertilizers, which increase both the yield and the quality of opium. Farmyard manure at the rate of 20 to 30 tons per hectare is generally applied by broadcasting while the field is prepared for sowing. Besides, 60 to 80 kg nitrogen and 40 to 50 kg P2O5 per hectare is recommended. No potash is applied. Half of nitrogen and entire phosphorus are applied at sowing time through placement and remaining half of nitrogen placed at the rosette stage. Let's come to water management or irrigation. Water is one of the major factors limiting the growth and yield of posta during germination and establishment, vegetative growth, hook stage and flowering, and post-flowering prior to leaf senescence. Restricting irrigation in the early plant growth stage to save water results in stunting of the plants. This effect will not be overcome by applying water in the late growth stages. Hence, at least 3 to 4 irrigations are recommended till harvest. Now let's see about the disease management. Downy mildew. This disease is accompanied by reddish lesions on poppy's upper leaf surfaces, accompanied by fluffy gray, tan or purple areas on their underside point to downy mildew infection. Management. Cultural control including watering from beneath, spacing poppies for adequate air circulation, and removing plant debris, etc. Mancozeb fungicide application is also good for treating the downy mildew. Let's see gray mold. Gray mold fungus disfigures or damage or order poppies during cool, wet spring weather. Brownish lesions on newly infected plants decay and develop masses of gray spores. Management. Poppies are irrigated from beneath early in the day to speed evaporation. Removal of old or injured leaves and flowers are effective. Captain, Thiram, and several other fungicides limit gray mold spreads. Powdery mildew. Powdery mildew fungi target posta growing in dry and shady spots. The symptoms is white powdery coating on stems, leaves and blooms. Management. Posta is protected by giving them full sun and watering from above to wash the spores from the leaves. Tomato spotted with virus. Incurable potato spotted wilt through thrips disfigures poppies with stem streaking and dark lined, spotted of ring flower petals. The virus delays blooming and often disturbs the blossoms. Management. Controlling thrip population, spraying poppies with narrow range or neem oil when removal of infected plants along with nearby weeds and avoiding high nitrogen fertilizers are suggested. Now let's see about the insect management. The first insect is sap-sucking aphids and thrips. These insects are usually found on the underside of the leaves and on the joints of stems. If the plant is badly infested, the leaves take on a deformed, curled appearance and the plant may eventually die. They are controlled by spraying dimethoate at the rate of 2 ml per liter water. Now let's come to the harvesting, threshing, lancing and latex collection of Posta. Posta starts flowering in 95 to 115 days after sowing. The petals start shedding after 3 to 4 days of flowering. The capsules matured after 15 to 20 days of flowering. Lancing of the capsules exudes maximum latex at this stage. This stage can be visually judged by the compactness and a change in the color from greenish to light green colored ring in the capsule. That stage is also called as industrial maturity. The crop is left for drying for about 20 to 25 days when the last lancing on the capsules stops exudation of latex. The capsules are then picked up and the plant is removed with sickles. Harvested capsules are dried in open yard and seeds are collected by beating with a wooden rod. Let's see the yield potential of Posta. The yield of raw opium varies from 50 to 60 kg per hectare. Now let's see few conditions of legality of cultivation of Posta. Cultivation of Posta or poppy without license of the government is illegal. Legal cultivation of opium for medicinal purposes is carried out in India only in selected areas under free license conditions. Legal cultivation for medical use is permissible within the ambit of United Nations Single Convention on Narcotic Drugs 1961. Central Bureau of Narcotics, that is CBN, is responsible for overall supervision of cultivation as per provisions of Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act India 1985 and Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Rules India 1985. The Central Bureau of Narcotics CBN, Gwalior in Madhya Pradesh, under the Narcotics Commissioner, issues licenses to the farmers to cultivate opium poppy. Each field of every cultivator is individually measured by the officers of the CBN to ensure that they do not exceed the license areas. The cultivators are required to tender their entire opium produce to the CBN and they are paid a price at the rates decided by the government. The CBN sets up weightman centers during the harvest season and the cultivators bring their opium to these centers and tender the opium to the CBN. All the opium procured is sent to the government opium and alkaloid factories situated at Nimuch and Gazipur. Opium is dried and processed at these factories for export and is also used for extraction of various products like codeine, phosphate, thebaine, morphine sulfate, noscapine, etc. Coming to the concluding part of the discussion, if Posta is used purposefully, it is an economic plant with diverse medicinal values. However, a synthetic derivative of this drug from morphine, known as heroin, has led to the worldwide social problems, but attempts to find a synthetic drug which would replace morphine and codeine have not been fruitful so far. Maximum manufacture of the heroin from the drug plant product has come from the so-called Golden Triangle, which is area of mainland Southeast Asia comprising the Shan Plateau and Kachin Hills of northeastern Burma, the highlands of northwestern Laos, and the highlands of northern Thailand that flooded the world by misuse of the ornamental and medicinal plant. Plants are gift of nature, but if they are misused, they destroy human beings. Hence, we should all make use of the Posta plant meaningfully and purposefully in the welfare of human beings.